From the moment I could walk and talk, I was singing and dancing. That's all I ever wanted to do. Like, I remember when I think I was like 5 or 6, I was on a stage because I was performing since I was really, really little in like commercials and in shows. And I was on the stage, and you know when you have these vivid memories of like childhood? There was this thing where we were in a line and we all had to step forward and say our name and what we want to be when we grew up. And I stepped into the lights, and I remember I looked up at the lights and I saw my mom in the audience, and I saw all the people, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Jenny Gottlieb, and when I grow up, I want to be a Broadway star." And I remember in that moment thinking, this is the greatest thing on the planet. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. For the majority of my life, I spent every ounce of energy trying to make that dream a reality. So I went to college for musical theater. I was a musical theater major at the University of Hartford. I quickly dropped out of the University of Hartford and moved to New York City, and I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy and studied musical theater there. And then I went on the road for a year with a Broadway national tour, and then I was on TV, and I became a working actor. If you were to look at me, you're like, oh, she's a successful working actor. But I realized really quickly when doing that, especially on the road, that number one, I didn't like the lifestyle of not having a home and being and not having certainty and not knowing if I was gonna have a job next year, and having to wait for someone to choose me, and having to audition and go into rooms and say, am I good enough? Can you pick me, please? And not feeling like I didn't have any control over my future. I realized that I didn't want to do it anymore, that I didn't want the lifestyle, that I loved performing, but I knew that the impact that I wanted to make on the planet, I didn't know what it was, what kind of impact I wanted to make, but I knew that it wasn't going to happen waiting for other people to control my destiny. So I said to my family and my friends, I will get back on stage somehow. I'm not acting anymore, but I will be back on stage. I know it because this is my purpose. This is what I was born to do. And it's so crazy how now I get to pick me. I get to put myself on stage, and I get to speak my own words instead of reading somebody else's lines and doing somebody else's choreography, and help people at the same time and run a business and make a hell of a lot more money than I did when I was an actor. So all the dots connect when you look backwards, as long as you follow your bliss. I want to help people see their true potential. So I truly believe that the people that we help, whether it be our agency clients or our mastermind members, or just the people that hear me speak, whether it is through my content or through the media or through coming to an event that I'm speaking at, I want to be able to help them see what they can't see within themselves. When I was on my heavy metal TV show on VH1, I was living completely out of alignment from who I was. If you look online, I was this super blonde, super sexy metal chick wearing pleather pants and big boots and looked angry all the time. And if you talk to me right now, you're like, that's not me, that's not who I am. But I got sucked into this trap of this role that I was playing on this show and lost myself. And I was in a toxic relationship. I was severely bulimic. I was incredibly depressed. Was in this internal battle with myself every single day. I'm here for more, and this is not it, and I don't know who I am anymore. And then everything kind of came crashing down, as it usually does if you're out of alignment and you can't get yourself back in. And my boyfriend at the time, who I thought I was going to marry, was cheating on me with one of our friends. And so he kicked me out of our multi-million-dollar apartment that we lived in together. And my show got canceled that same week. And I found myself in a tiny little apartment with a window that faced a brick wall and 6 other actors with no job, no boyfriend, not much money because I was an actor, I was making money on my show, but not that much money, and not knowing who I was. And I had to start over. There was something inside of me that just kept telling me one day you'll know why this happened. And so that's all I could write down in a journal. I would just sit there and just write down, one day I'll know why this happened, one day I'll know why this happened. And I started to explore, and I started to explore podcasts and books and just trying to figure out what I could possibly do to change my life. And I decided that I wanted to start a business. in the health and wellness space, but I knew absolutely nothing about business. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about sales, absolutely nothing. The only thing that I knew about was PR and media. And I knew how to transform the narrative through the media. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on TV and I'm gonna get in the media as fitness girl instead of heavy metal girl. I created a very successful business in a very short amount of time. And then I met the man that I was manifesting, which is my fiance, Chris. So Chris asked me to become a partner in the business, and together we built the agency with Angela, which is Super Connector Media. Every time that I speak, I have a moment where I'm like, oh my God, maybe, am I really good enough to be here? Am I really good enough to be here? Am I really good enough for them to be listening to me? Always, a little bit. And I've experienced it way more in different areas of my life. First day at my big mastermind that I put down $100,000 to be in, I walked into that room, I'm like, I am the dumbest, poorest person in this room right now. I don't belong here. Like, imposter syndrome central. Skip to when I was the keynote speaker at that mastermind. A year later, they asked me to speak, and I was on the stage talking to them. Of course I had imposter syndrome, but then I also had another emotion, an emotion of pride. And it's worth it so much more when you have all that fear and all of that doubt. When you come around to the other side and you can celebrate that big win, that is what gives you momentum to go for something even bigger. And you are literally channeling from God. Like, it is just you, the words are just flowing through your mouth and you are connecting with each human and you are just on your game. You can tell the difference. You can tell when you do a talk or a presentation or a pitch or something, when you're not in the pocket and you're kind of flailing a little bit, and those are important. You need to have those times because those times are the ones that, give you what you need to know to be able to get to the times when you're in the pocket. But the times when you're in the pocket are the times that just give you the confidence and make you take a breath and be like, wow, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So in the pocket. And the best way to describe that is the people that you are connecting to are fully there with you. You're hitting every beat and you understand that in that moment, it just feels like time stops. And hours could have gone by, but it feels like 2.5 seconds because it just kind of flowed. My biggest fear is this game that I play with myself when I'm trying to make a decision if I should invest in something or not. So I think about the end of my life. At the end of my life, there's this thing that happens that God comes and shows me a version of myself that said yes to all of my opportunities, that invested in myself, that bet on myself, that jumped on every unicorn that walked down the street and did the thing and didn't say she was too tired or didn't say she didn't have the money, found a way to make it work, took risks, bet on herself, went the extra mile, did all the things. I have to look at her and I have to see what she created. And my biggest fear in the entire world is that that is not me at the end of my life, that I'm looking at her and I'm thinking that's what could have been. And I don't want to meet her. I don't want to look at her. I want to be her. And at the end of my life, I want to say that I put it all out on the table and I bet on me. At the end of the day, money comes and goes. It's just energy. We have this one life. We have this day one time. Are you putting in the work to get to your future self today? Before you know it, we're going to be in our bed tonight. And whenever I get in my bed at night, I ask myself, what did I do today to build future Jen? Did I put it all out on the table? Or did I make excuses as to why I couldn't? Because every day that goes by that you make excuses as to why you didn't, that all adds up. And the time's gonna go by anyway. So you may as well make as much happen as you possibly can in each day that we're given. So invest in yourself. And every time that I've ever invested in myself, even if it wasn't a good investment, or I lost my money, or I lost it all, or it was stupid, it always ends up being for you in the end. You don't necessarily know why immediately, but you know why eventually. It's always learning. There are always lessons. You always make it back. So funny because I usually embody Jen from 8 years from now and talk to Jen now and tell Jen now what she needs to do to get to Jen in 8 years, but I never talk to Jen in 8 years. So that's actually a really good exercise. Well, I would say congratulations. I would say because you consistently stepped outside of your comfort zone and did things that scared you, you got to where you wanted to be. I would also say to her, don't you dare take your foot off the gas pedal. More importantly, above all, love is the most important thing that matters. And if you lose that and you get away from that, because you're gonna be big, girlfriend, I'm talking to you, you're gonna be big. Always remember that love is the most important thing. The people in your life, the connections that you have, and the people that you help.
Thank you to our speakers for making such an impact in our masterminds. If you want to join the next one, check the link below.